Story time on how I went from making $680,000 in 1 year to damn near broke the next year. Now, this is going to be a long one, so if you got stuff to do, sit down. Okay, first I have to give y'all an introduction of who I am and a background of my story, because it's all going to make sense when we get to the point where everything changed. So if you're new here, my name is May, and I am the owner of Wigs by May. I've been running my business since I was 17, so going on 9 years full time. So let me just say that, because business is still going good, okay? There is a happy ending. I just had a period where...
680K selling wigs is crazy, but it's not far-fetched. Hear me out. When I was in college, my mans and I, we had ideas. Looking back on it, y'all might laugh, but looking back on it, it was ingenious and we never went through with it. I feel stupid that we didn't go through with it. So we had a few ideas. One, we was going to start one of them websites. You know, one of the websites you go on to get your rocks off. I went to school for graphic design. He went to school for graphic design also. And you know what I'm saying? We did the class. They taught us how to build websites from scratch. They taught us how to build websites from scratch using codes and, damn, I forgot the program we was using. It's not how it is now. Now you can go on the internet and AI is going to build everything for you. All you got to do is type in the instructions. It wasn't like that. But anyway, so we was going to build a porn website. That was one of the ideas. The second idea is no out here doing nails, bro. You can go to the Asian spot and it's Asian dudes in there doing nails. Bro, we should learn how to do nails. You know what I'm saying? We not ugly. We in shape. This was back in the day. You feel me? Like, I feel as though a lot of females would come in there and get their nails done from us. We never went through with that. The other joint was really something he picked up on, because his homegirls was into that, making wigs and selling them. He said his homegirl was making bread, making wigs and selling them. But she used to make the wigs and she did hair. So it came like a pre-packaged type thing. Like, you don't got to go to the store and buy the hair. Like, I already got it. I'll make it for you. And it's a one-stop shop. So we was thinking of getting into all of that. Mind you, this was 2012, 2011. We was way ahead of our time and we never went through with it.
Yeah. I was humbled. Let's just say that. Okay, so when I first started my business, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know what a hair vendor was. I didn't have a website. I didn't have a logo. Like, I didn't know anything at all. Right before I started my business, right, I was always known as the girl who loved Jesus Christ. Okay, right before I started my business, I had like a prayer getting everyone together instead of partying. I'm like, okay, let's bring everyone together so we can celebrate Christ. So that alone just shows like the type of person that I was known for. So I believe when I did that is when I made my first wig. And I believe because of that and the love that I have for God, especially during the time that I was going through with my family, which was like the roughest time we ever went through, I believe that is why everything happened for me so fast. So I am an overnight success. Okay, I started the day I posted about wigs, I got an order the next day, and then 5 months later, I blew up overnight. Like, I went to having no money to $6,000 overnight in 5 months. Now, during that time, like, you know, I'm posting about God, like, all the time. I'm giving glory to God, like, for real, because I never would have thought me, especially because I didn't know anything.
The quicker the money comes, the quicker it goes. Prime example, I do YouTube. Before my channel took off, now things have slowed down. But when my channel initially took off, I was already doing YouTube about 7 years before that. For 7 years, I did YouTube, and I was probably making $1,000, $2,000. I think the most I probably made was like $2,000 a month. Then one day, one video took off. Then the next day, the next video took off. And in that first month, I made $4,000. Then that second month, I made $9,000. Then $12,000. Kind of leveled off at like 15. Then 2024 started, I made 20. You know what I'm saying? I'm going in. But like I was having $20,000 months, I was having $15,000 months, and I think that because I was struggling from before, I respected the money more. I think gradual success is the best. Because if it happens overnight, you're not going to respect it. You're not going to respect that money. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to know what to do with that money. And before you know it, you're back to square one.
From then, business been consistent. Never stopped. Business been consistent. I was working hard. Now, I didn't know anything, but I told God, I'm like, I'm going to just trust you. Like, I don't know what you got for me, but I'm going to just trust you and go with the flow. So I went with the flow, and from then, business grew every year by like 100,000. My first year, I did 6 figures. Next year, $200,000. Next year, 350. Next year, 400. It literally kept going up and up and up. So that's just that. But mind you, I am giving glory to God throughout it all. I'm talking about God throughout it all, just giving him all praise. So the first like 4 or 5 years of my business up until like 2021, it was just me running my business. I'm working at it hard. It got to the point where like I needed an assistant because I was working so hard that like I didn't really get like the college experience. I did go to college, but I dropped out the first year because I was taking business and I failed business two semesters. Third time was not a charm. I'm like, I don't know how I'm not getting this right, but my business is going right, so I'm dropping out. So I'm focusing on my business. I'm just going hard, like foot on the gas, like to the point where people's like, hey, like enjoy yourself, have fun, like chill. So then 2021 came and it got to the point where like I need an assistant. Like I can't, if I want to keep growing, like I need help. So then I got my first assistant. Now, when I got my first assistant, that is the first time I ever got like not space to myself, but like time to live, because now it's not just me. I have help. So now I'm starting to go out. I'm starting to like, I didn't have the college experience. So I'm just starting to do a little more with myself. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so now this is when things start to go downhill for me. So it is a series of things that happened that brought me into like a whole crash out spiral. So the first one being, I fell out with my assistant, and her sister was someone that I consider my best friend. And we fell out. That was like a whole big thing that really, really hurt me. Like, it really hurt me a lot. So,
this might sound like some shady shit to say, but friends and family and business don't mix. I would quicker hire a stranger before I hire family.
If you're watching this, I will say I forgave, I moved on, but at the time I felt very betrayed. I felt very used. I just felt a lot of things. So that was like the first thing that happened that kind of had me like feeling like I was being taken advantage of. So then the next thing that happened was my ex. I found out my ex of 6 years was cheating on me. Now, he was cheating. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, he was cheating on me. It's not the first time, but this is the first time that I really crashed out. Like, really, really crashed out. Especially because, like, that's a whole nother story. But really crashed out. So, boom. Hit, like, second thing that happened to me. Now I'm really losing it. And then, towards the end of the year, something with someone who was very close to me, I found out how they really felt about me. And that was the icing on the cake. Okay, that situation had me drinking Hennessy. And I never had Hennessy up until that point. So now with all these things happening to me, and I'm feeling like, damn, like I'm there for everyone. I'm doing this for everyone. Like, why me? Why is this all happening to me? I'm not understanding because I've been good to everyone. So it brought me to the point of like, I'm losing it. Like, I'm losing it. And then it brought me to the point where I'm like, everybody. Like, I don't care about nobody anymore. Like, I started to get very, very, my heart grew cold for everyone. So now, that's the end of 2022. So going into 2023, which is the year that I made the most money I've ever made. And I'm single. I am single for the first time in 6 years. I am single for the first time in my adult life. So I start wilding out. On top of that, I'm already mad at everybody else. So this is the first time I am just at a point where I'm like, F everybody. I don't trust anyone.
You was out there giving the cheeks up. Ladies, I have a question. Why y'all be doing that, man? Y'all get upset at a nigga, you know what I'm saying? He might have cheated, he might have did whatever. And then you decide to go out there and give up the yams to multiple niggas who don't care about you. Because you mad at one person. You think you giving up the yams gonna hurt him? Yeah, his feelings might get hurt, but in the long run, times heal all. Eventually, he's gonna forget about you. But you know what? You're not gonna forget. You're not gonna forget about the unnecessary bodies that you caught because you was upset.
So now I'm going out more. I'm drinking more, partying, smoking. I'm going on dates just for some free food. I'm messing around like I completely lost it.
Giving up the
at
yams.
this point. Like, I've done turned to a whole different person. So let's just say that God was nowhere near. Like, I wouldn't say that he wasn't a thought, but he was, like, as much as the stuff that I was indulging in, he wasn't a thought. And then on top of that, I had a friend that moved in with me. She was also going through something. So now we both going through something. We both drinking our days away. And
misery loves company.
Just whatever. I done met somebody. I called him my trauma bond. He going through something too. So now we just all going through something. And yeah. Now, this is the time that I was making the most money. And I can't even tell you how I was doing it because I was literally under the influence every single day. Like, I don't even know. But at this point, my business is bringing in $50,000 to $60,000 a month. Literally, like I remember the first 5 months, $60,000. Come back for part 2. Story time on part 2 on how I made $680,000 one year to going damn near broke the next year. So we left off at business was bringing $50,000 to $60,000 a month, right? So, like I said, I don't know how I was running my business. I did get another assistant. Okay, so she's working with me. She's helping me. But like, when I tell you, I would be like, Sneaky Link would leave and my assistant would come in. I'm like, hey girl, hold on, let me just get cleaned up real quick. Like, that's how
crazy.
Like
You was focused on the wrong
so
things.
now at this point, I am like so far going that I don't even recognize who I am. I was looking at myself one day and I'm like, who is this? Like literally saw Jezebel. Literally. Oh my God. Anyway, so
bro, that's how I was feeling, bro. After my grandmother died and I had that long spell of depression and I'm smoking every day and I'm just eating, I'm smoking and I'm eating. This is really how I started gaining weight. I was just smoking, eating. Bro, one day I was just like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? And I just had to cut that shit out.
But I'm hurt. I'm hurt about everything that has happened. So that's why I just became so cold, right? So then when I started to see like I'm not me anymore, that's when I started to hear God again. Like, I'm on TikTok, I start seeing a whole bunch of stuff. If you're seeing this, God, if you're seeing this, and da-da-da. So it got to the point where I'm just like, okay, God, what do you want? Literally, like, I'm like, what do you want? Like, what? Then I'm crying. I'm crying. So long story short, I asked God, listen, God, I am nowhere in my right mind can make a good decision. There's nothing in me that I can do any good by you. Nothing. Because I'm feeling like I did everything that I can't come back. But I'm telling him, he pretty much, I went to a scripture and pretty much God lends his hands to the brokenhearted. Clearly I was broken. So I'm like, God, please change my heart, mind, and soul. I kept saying that over and over again. Change my mind, heart, and soul. So then, literally, y'all, when I tell you, and this is only if you experience this. If you didn't experience this, you won't understand. But when I tell you, when I did all that boo-hoo crying and asking God, when I tell you it happened like this, like literally like this, like after that, drinking wasn't the same. Smoking wasn't the same. I'm listening to the same music I was just listening to yesterday. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, literally, like, I just felt so different. Now, of course, I didn't change overnight. I'm still dibbling and dabbling. But the dibbling and dabbling wasn't dabbling no more. Like, I'm still doing the same things. But, like, I'm not getting drunk anymore. So then I remember, like, then you know what? I did ask God to change me. But it's 4th of July and I'm trying to have a good time. So now I'm forcing myself to drink. I'm not feeling the same anymore. Not like I'm drunk, overly drunk. I used to drink every day, wake up the next day and be cool. Now I'm having a hangover. I ain't never had a hangover in my life. So, like, drinking wasn't the same. I'm smoking. Now I'm getting paranoid. That's not the same. And then, I remember talking to my mama.
Yo. Bro, ain't nothing like smoking and just sitting there and you start hearing shit. I told y'all how I felt as though our house was haunted. I felt like that even more after I smoked. I used to smoke and be in that basement. I might be editing my videos and I'll just hear some shit. And I'm like, yo, is that my wife? Is that my son? No. My studio was in the basement. We had the laundry room connected. And I promise you, bro, sometimes I felt like I would see shadows walking through the laundry room. Man, listen. Yeah. I had to get that marijuana up, dog. I'm telling y'all, that shit was making me paranoid. Then I'll sit there and just be thinking about dying. That was really it for me. Like, I was getting high as fuck, bro. And I'll sit there and be like, damn, bro. One day I'm really gonna die. I'm gonna be in a hole in the ground in a box. By myself.
About it, my mom was like, man, you can't ask God to change you and you still doing whatever. Like, what do you expect? You ask God to change your mind, heart, and soul. That's what's happening. So I'm like, you know what? You're right. So now I'm like, okay, let me just stop drinking. Let me stop smoking. Let me get myself back in the word. So I start doing that for like a couple weeks. Then I go back. Then one day I get lonely. Pretty much, we're not going to get there. Let me skip some parts. So now this is when stuff starts to change again. So now I feel like I need to move. I feel like I'm not happy in Jersey. like, I need to move. I'm going to be a better person if I move. So I decide to choose Houston. So I said to myself, when I move to Houston, I'm going to be a totally different person.
You trying to stop partying, you trying to stop drinking, and whatever else you was doing, and you decide to move to Houston? Come on, sis. Come on now. If you was trying to really get in like that, your ass move to Wyoming or something like that. Houston? You move to Houston, you move to Atlanta. Those is the devil's playground.
Like, I'm going to be modest. I'm going to have Christian friends. I'm going to find me a community. Like, I'm going to be walking outside, get my steps, doing Pilates. Like, I'm going to do all, like, girl, I really thought that.
No.
I thought.
No.
So, right before I moved to Houston, I'm still working on my relationship with God. So now, I asked my assistant, hey, do you want to move to Houston with me? Because I wanted her to continue work with me. I didn't want to have to keep finding, someone going through the whole process. I'm looking to get a house. You can have your own room and you can still work with me. And, that will be a part of you working with me. So she's immediately like, yes. So we moved to Houston, right? So when we moved to Houston, mind you, I threw away all of my clothes. I wanted a brand new start. Like, I thought I was going to just become a whole new person. I'm throwing away my whole wardrobe. So when we moved out here, pretty much I done got scammed out of the people who was moving my stuff in. And long story short, I didn't get none of my belongings for the first 2 months of living there. But luckily, I put all of my work stuff in my car, and I got my car the same day that I moved. So I was able to get back to work. But I don't really have any furniture. I don't have nothing. Like, none of my stuff is here. So when we moved out here, it's a new... wait, hold on. So me and my friend moved out here, and my friend is the assistant. She was always my friend first. So we moved out here, and we are just on an all-time high because it's nice out here. There's nothing really to do because we don't have our stuff. Like, we sleeping on air mattresses. So all we did was work. After work, we went out and explored. Now that is when I realized that I moved to Party City.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. No idea Houston was as lit as it was. So with that, right, and, me just being in a whole new scenery, at this point, I'm not really I'm not in my word. Okay, I'm not in my word. I got a lot of distractions. And now I'm seeing Houston for what it is. I also don't have any clothes, but I'm realizing how everybody dress out here, and they dress down. As you know, they dress down. So I started dressing down too. So, let's just say I went backwards. I actually became worse. Okay,
Bro, telling you trying to change your life for the better, moving to Houston, or if you move to Atlanta, that shit would be like somebody who was an alcoholic, went to the AA meetings, stopped drinking for about 2-3 years, and moved upstairs of a bar.
Worse, I just started drinking again, smoking again, especially because out here, like, they buying us drinks and stuff. Not saying that I never had that happen to me before, but here is different from Jersey. The guys ain't doing it in Jersey the way that they're doing out here. So, like, now, like, I'm catching on, like, oh, snap, I'm getting the sessions for free, the drink. So I'm on an all-time high. So I became worse, pretty much. Now I'm partying again. I'm drinking again. I'm worse. Now the next part is when it really started going downhill, and yeah, that's when I get humble. Part 2 on how I made 600.
Is that her smoke detector? Yo, black folks, we are undefeated when it comes to these goddamn smoke detector. I thought that was my shit going off.
Part 3 on how I made $680,000 one year to damn near broke the next year. So in part 2, we left off to basically I just went backwards. I thought that I was going to be a whole new person until I experienced the Houston nightlife, and I just became a Houston hottie pretty much. Now, let me just add, at this point, I never had to look at my bank account. Ever. Like, because the money was just always coming in. Like, I knew that I was always straight. Like, I had bands.
I ain't gonna say when my YouTube started going crazy, I had bands on top of bands. But what I would say is my work check, for a point in time, I never spent my work check. Like, I never paid attention to my work check. You know how, like, was it ADP? A few days before you get paid, they send you your check stub so you could see your hours, you could see if you were your overtime, and you could make sure your check's correct. I never did any of that. 2023, 2024, 2022, 2023, 2024, I did not do no such things. It wasn't until I think the ending of 2024 they had to resend me a check because they was like, oh, yo, we've been messing up on your hours. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know. And after that, I was like, all right, let me start checking. Because granted, like, the money is good and I could live on this money right here. But at the same time, like, I want to be paid fairly. You know what I'm saying? I want to be compensated fairly for my time.
In my bank account, so I never looked at my money. Also, take into account when I started my business, I did not mention, but like when I started my business, I didn't have a plan. Everything happened to me overnight. Everything was given to me because of, my relationship with God. Just was very blessed. And I never had a strategy, but one thing that did help me get to where I am was me as a person, my personality, and I was very good at making content. So my content was always viral, always. Like, I didn't have to worry about, like, I can just make a post and it will go viral. And that's how things was happening for me. It was always like that the first 6 years. So I remember at one point where I'm not doing good or whatever, and when I started hearing God come back to me, I'm like, dang, like, I'm doing all this and I'm not focused on God. Like, one day is going to be an end to this because I know God. Like, I know him, but I'm so lost in the sauce to where I'm not all the way there to change, pretty much. So I gotta add this in because this is an important factor in my life. So my man comes into my life, and I just remember being confused on, like, why were you sent here? You're such a good man that, like, you don't deserve who I'm being. So I'm confused. But he is a very big lesson in this story. I meet him right before 2024. So now 2024 comes, okay? And it is January. And I noticed in January, I don't remember exactly how much I made, but it was a little slower than normal. Because like I said, I was making $50,000, $60,000 a month. $45,000 was average. 30,000 is like slow. So January was a little. So then February came, And
It was even less.
that was the first time I had a restock and I didn't sell out. Normally, I would have restock and I would sell out in minutes. I was known for that. I was known for selling out in minutes. But I didn't sell out. So, okay. Then March came and it's still a little slow. Like, it's slower. Then April came. And I remember the first 5 months of April, I had 0 sales for 5 days in a row. 5 days in a row, and I remember being like, whoa. Hold on. Now, this is when I started to like, let me look into some stuff. Mind you, when I came out here, I didn't do nothing I said I was going to do. Nothing at all. Never really had to pay attention to my bank account. At this point, I'm still spending it. I'm also paying my assistant as if I was making $50,000 to $60,000 a month. But I'm not making that, and I'm also not really paying attention to that. I'm noticing that it's slower, but I'm not paying attention, period. So I'm still paying her like I was making it, but I wasn't. So when April came and I didn't make a sale for 5 days in a row, that's when I'm like, hold on. Now I'm scared. So, that's when I started looking into stuff, and I'm like, oh. So I looked at my bank account.
What was it hitting on?
And the funds was not funding.
What was it hitting
on? It wasn't what I thought. I'm looking at my bank account like, hold on, what's going on? Like, what happened? Now, when I first moved to Houston and I had my assistant come out here, I told her that she stayed with me, but like, you have to have another job. I don't want to be your only source of income. The reason for that is because my last assistant, when I got sick, she wasn't working for me, and she felt some type of way. She's like, oh, well, how am I going to pay my bills if I'm not working? I'm like, I'm sick. Like, what? That's a whole nother story, but that's why I wanted my new assistant. You have to have another job because I don't want to be your only source. But me and her, we came out here. We were actually going through the same thing, kind of. So we're both spending it, and she didn't get. At this point, I had to tell her, like, hey, listen, like, we've been here for some time, and like, I know you need to start looking for a job, pretty much. Like, I can't keep paying you the way. Like, I'm gonna have to cut you short because the way that business is running, it's not enough for me to be paying you because I'm not making the same amount. So she understood. So that's when I realized, May is short too. Then June, we all know the summertime. So now, oh my gosh, now it got to the point where I literally had to tell her, like, okay, I have to let you go right now. Like, I can't, like, I gotta let you go. But just for right now, until I figure something out, because the way that business is running is just enough for me. Now, at this point, I am like, what is going on? My views have went down tremendously.
Oh.
Like I said, I used to post and go viral. I'm posting.
Okay, so your business was based on your social media presence and how much views you get. Bro, yeah. When it comes to that shit don't last. It don't last at all. Like, right now, I'm in a drought. I ain't gonna lie, it might be self-inflicted because I don't really upload as much as I used to. But even with that, when them folks decide to cut you off, they gonna cut you off. When that algorithm decide, hey, you know what? Forget him. Forget her. We gonna go in this direction. You gonna feel it.
And my views is yo, I remember making a post and I got like 3 likes in an hour.
Ooh.
And I crashed out.
You got shadow banned.
So pretty much I'm like, what is going on? Like,
you got shadow banned.
I've never went through this before. All my first 6 years of my business, you know, I'm thinking I'm just gonna come out here. I made $680,000 last year. I'm thinking I'm finna make $1 million this year. No, that's not what happened,
bro.
And it was because I wasn't on it. Like, I didn't do anything I said I was gonna do. I came out here. I'm partying. I'm drinking. I'm smoking every day. I'm not even like worried about business. Like, I don't. So it got to the point where I started to blame the devil. I'm feeling like this is the devil's fault. Like, he doesn't want to see me win. Like, like, I'm sitting here crying to my mom and blaming the devil. Like, and my mom's like, Amaya, you sitting here blaming the devil and you not blaming yourself.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you sitting here saying you did this, you ran your business, you did all this, but you forgot about God. And that's when I was like, oh my God. Right. Come back to part 4.
She touched a lot of points. Moving to Houston, that was a mistake. For what you was trying to do, that was a mistake. Now, if you still was in your party bag and you wasn't trying to change your life like that, hell yeah, go ahead and move to Houston. You could party as much as you want out there, right? So that was your first mistake. The next thing is, yes, you wasn't paying attention to your business. You wasn't doing what you were supposed to do. But that social media stuff is never promised. It is never promised. When them folks is done with you, they done with you. You know how they say 15 minutes of fame or 15 seconds of fame or whatever they say it is? That's how it is. Algorithm is going to push you. You're going to get used to it. But in that fall be detrimental. That's why you see a lot of influencers be depressed. A lot of these motherfuckers be ready to commit suicide. You go from making $150,000, $250,000 a year. Some of these dudes be making $1 million a year to $20,000 a year. And that's how it goes. Originally, when my shit had got shadow banned, I told y'all, bro, I was making $1,000 a month. And then one day, bro, around that time I uploaded a video. The first hour of that video would get like 1,000 views, which was decent. Then I remember one day I uploaded a video. That first hour of that video only got 20 views. The next day, it was only 500 views on there. And I'm like, bro, what's going on? Then the same thing happened. Then the same thing happened again. Then my videos kept on getting demonetized for no reason with no explanation. Now, mind you, at that time, my channel was already struggling. And them folks wasn't done with me. They said, you know what? Yeah, we already killed you, but now we gonna bury you. So yeah, when it comes to that social media shit, that shit ain't promised. That shit ain't promised at all. Imagine you watching all my videos, laughing your ass off, but you still ain't subscribed. You got commitment issues, dog. It's free. It is free for you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way, YouTube not gonna control when or how you see my videos. Come on, people. What's going on? What are you waiting for? I ain't begging. I'm asking nicely. Don't make me ask you again.